Man, it's been a while, but I got something to talk about. Planning accordingly. You know, I'm 20 years old, and it disappoints me when my friends who are my age or anybody, even people older than me, they they don't plan things out properly, or they do things that screw people over, that make things an inconvenience to people because they cancel out. They cancel out on what they say they're gonna do. My cousin, my little cousin, his uncle asked me to tutor his kid because he needs help with writing. He asked me this last week, so I'm like, yeah, that's fine, I can do it. I'm a journalism major at Rutgers, I could do this, no problem. So I did it last week. No big issues. The kid, he had problems writing, and I was like, I was making it work. I was like, all right, do this and that. I'll be back next week. He asked me to do this. All right, I'm going out of my way to help him out. You know, said, all right, I'll be back next week, Thursday, which is today. All right. Now with me, usually if I say I'm gonna do something, I stick with it, and I'll just randomly pop up and be like, oh yeah, we planned this last week. It was true, like we planned it last week. Just to be sure, I called today. I called 2 hours before I was supposed to go there. I'm like, oh, we're still good, right? And I talked to the kid first, my cousin, and basically said no. That nah, didn't want to, whatever. So I'm like, alright, let me talk to your uncle. Because he said the uncle said no. I'm like, whatever. Call the uncle, you know. Basically, oh yeah, I was supposed to call you. Yeah, he's got stuff to do. Whatever. It's one thing if it only affects you, but when doing that, canceling something affects other people, screws other people's schedules or lives over, that's just rude. And and I see that too much. This has happened to me too much recently that it baffles me that 20-year-olds and adults cannot set up their schedules right. They cannot, and they end up screwing other people's lives over because plans are made and they cancel out last minute. 2 hours. 2 hours for us to get it, cancel out on me. I made sure nothing was planned today for this kid. Alright? Whatever. And in another situation, right? I went to a trip. Planned a trip, right? I got a call one day, right? From a friend. He's like, yeah, let's go visit this friend in another city. Initially I was skeptical. I was like, but I looked into it, I'm like, oh, this could be really fun. So I plan everything. That's the thing. I'm the planner of all the occasions usually. Plan it out, everything's set, and we're gonna go meet our friend who lives in that city, because she goes to uni there. Blah, everything's good, whatever. Call the guy, tell him, alright, this is the plan. He's like, yeah, no problem. Called him twice to confirm this, to make sure we're good. Alright? So I buy my ticket, my end of the bargain. I do it, alright? Lo and behold, 2 days before we were supposed to leave, calls me and cancels out on me. Alright? Mind you, this wasn't my idea to begin with. This was his idea. And I'm like, that is just, it's rude, man. It's rude. I don't care your situation. Given your circumstances, either way, you shouldn't cancel out last minute. Alright? Because you should know well, if you're going to say you're going to do something, do it well ahead of time. And it's just seen as too much, and it is just rude. And there is no other place to describe that. Alright? You say you're going to do something, you should stick with your word. Alright? And my plans accommodated in both these situations. My plans were to accommodate them. Alright? In both situations, I was the one who ended up being screwed over one way or another. You know, like, these weren't, you know, I was able to, like, work things out, whatever. But it just baffles me, you know. People cannot even admit to their faults in both situations. With my tutoring, just couldn't. I was gonna show up there. If I had done what I usually do, I would have just showed up there, and then they would have been like, no. And I've been like, what? You screwed me over. I'm going out of my way to help you, and you do this. Or in the other situation, I planned everything to accommodate you, and it was your idea to begin with, and you bail out. You follow what I'm saying? And it's just unbelievable. You know, grown people do not know how to schedule their lives accordingly. Not once have I ever bailed out on somebody. I've been late a few times, and I'll admit that, and I will call them and I will let them know I'm going to be late. Alright? It's better to be late than just to be nothing at all. Alright? Because at least they'll understand everybody has a good time at the end. Alright? But to cancel out and just screw that other person over, it says a lot about your character. It really does. And there's no other way to put it. Just man up. Man up to your situations. Alright? You could have, if you say you're going to do something and, you know, you got to give well known advance if it's not going down. Both situations, alright? Now I'll tell you right now. Either of them ask for my help, whatever, I'm going to go in with a wary eye. And I touch my eye. Because, you know, you lose a certain amount of respect when you do that. And my respect just went down a little because of that. You know, I say I'm going to do something, you know, I am always there on time. Yesterday, I had to go to do something. I was there when I said I was going to be there. 10 in the morning. Alright? Did the person make it on time? No. Came at 10:30. That's what I'm saying. Alright? It says a lot about your character when you cannot set up your own time. Alright, another thing. You know, that shows people have disrespect. That don't know how to handle themselves. I was meeting somebody once, right? For some volunteer thing. I don't know. I was kind of dragged into it and skeptical. Alright. The guy said, alright, talk tomorrow. You come meet you tomorrow. I'm like, okay, whatever. The guy's like, how good are you on time? I'm like, what? He's like, well, what time, you know, if you say you're going to make it at 6, what, you make it at 6:30? I'm like, wow. You know? And you know what's funny? The guy didn't come himself. His associate or whatever came 45 minutes late. Alright? You know what I just said? I gave him, and I respected him. And I gave him 15 minutes. Alright? Said, whatever, thanks. Called me later, he said, are you interested? And I said, no. Alright? If you cannot show yourself in a presentable way, and you disrespect me, then you're not going to get anything. You're not going to get anything from me. I just said, no. Said, okay, whatever, nice talking to you. I was like, bye. You know? So, if you're ever in a situation like that, and you see somebody just taking advantage of you, screwing you over like that, wasting your time, you just go up to them and say no. Alright? And you know what? You'll get a lot more respect for that. Because they know that you are not somebody who should waste their time with. Alright? Cut the bull. Peace out.